I am the daughter of the tragic heroine. At the tender age of 4, I finally deciphered the peculiar barrage of comments. The heroine is tirelessly working late into the night to earn a living for her daughter, unaware that she has been afflicted with cancer. If this continues, the child will soon be motherless. If either the male or female lead had spoken out, we would not have been subjected to a plot involving a runaway with a child. How pitiful for their daughter, who lost her mother at the age of 6. The male lead is utterly oblivious to her demise and has unwittingly fathered a daughter, destined to grow old in solitude. The most tragic of all is our little darling, who, despite having a wealthy father, was sent to an orphanage. Mother going to die? I stared at my gentle and beautiful mother in shock. This cannot be. While they remained silent, I had spoken out. One balmy afternoon, I stood beneath the building of a certain company, spotted a man clad in a tailored suit, and boldly grasped his leg. Daddy, send money? I must save Mommy. 1. My name is Jiang Jinan, affectionately called Jiang Inan. From the moment I began to form memories, I realized I was different from others. A string of symbols would frequently drift before my eyes. I initially presumed they were visible to everyone until I pointed them out to my mother, whose face reflected confusion. She inquired, "Sweetheart, what are you talking about?" It soon became apparent that only my world was graced with those cascading, intricate symbols. I grew accustomed to it, and thought little of it thereafter. That was until I learned to read. I discovered that the scrolling symbols were becoming increasingly familiar. I was brighter than my peers, a fact my mother had recognized early on, prompting her to teach me literacy and arithmetic at a young age. By the time I reached 4, I finally comprehended those strange symbols, known as barrage. The heroine is still desperately toiling late into the night to provide for her daughter, oblivious to her cancer diagnosis. If this drags on, her child will soon be left motherless. If either the male or female lead had spoken up, we would not have encountered a storyline involving a runaway with a child. How unfortunate for their daughter, who lost her mother at the tender age of 6. The male lead remains unaware of the heroine's death and has unwittingly fathered a daughter, destined to face life alone. The most tragic of all is our little darling, who, despite having a wealthy father, was sent to an orphanage. Is the heroine the same as the characters my mother watches on television? I struggled to comprehend, scratching my chubby head. Upon returning from work one day, my mother wore a conflicted expression. "And I have to go on a business trip to another city in a couple of days. Would you like to stay with Aunt Shinchi? She'll take you to kindergarten." Suddenly, those strange comments reappeared. I can hardly bear to watch any longer. If the heroine undergoes a checkup now, she could surely be treated in the early stages. This business trip to the city is the last chance for her to reunite with the male lead, yet they will miss each other entirely. I am truly heartbroken. Jiang Yuan, you must go to the hospital for treatment. Forget about that wretched job. I am in tears. Our little darling is so considerate. She worries about her mother's hard work, completely oblivious to her father's wealth. Oh, when the heroine is finally diagnosed with late-stage stomach cancer, she decides to forego treatment to save money for her daughter. This breaks my heart. My tears are worthless. I was taken aback. Jiang Yuan, that is my mother's name. Is it my mother who is ill? I sharply turned to look at her. She still appeared gentle and beautiful, yet it seemed she had indeed lost weight, and her recent meals had been scant. Is she unwell? My mother's voice broke through my thoughts. "Sweetheart, why are you daydreaming again? Mommy is speaking to you. Would you like to stay with Aunt Shinchi?" "No," I instinctively protested. 2. Mother did not anticipate my refusal. She opened her mouth to continue the discussion with me, saying, "And dear, Mommy has to go to work." Suddenly, I clung tightly to her thigh and looked up at her with tearful eyes, pleading, "Mommy, could you please take a leave of absence and bring me along on your business trip?" I promised to behave. And my mother gently stroked my cheek. "Why are you so sad? Mommy will be back in just a few days. You need to listen and go to school." "I don't want to." I reiterated my objection. "I've learned everything the kindergarten teacher has taught us. Please take me with you, Mommy, I beg you." My mother could not resist my coaxing. Her eyes sparkled, seemingly enchanted by her adorable daughter. After much internal conflict, she ultimately capitulated without principle and called my kindergarten teacher to request a leave of absence. She emphasized to me, "Then you must listen to Mommy when we are out. Do not run around while Mommy is working, all right?" I nodded vigorously. Thus, my mother took me out. This marked my first journey to another city. Often, due to her busy schedule, I was cared for by hired help. As we traveled towards the new city, the barrage of comments on screen rolled by. Little Bao is going on a business trip with Mommy. If only they could find Daddy and reunite as a family of 3. Indeed, they clearly love each other deeply, yet neither speaks up. I can't help but want to ask how important their pride is. Is it more important than life and death? Isn't the company the female lead is visiting on the same street as the Cheens? They have a chance to reunite. Oh, I truly hope the male lead knows that the female lead has given birth to a daughter. Searching for daddy. I was aware that all the children in kindergarten had fathers. My mother told me my father was far away, and I assumed he was deceased. But it turned out that was not the case. Having no father initially did not bother me. However, these comments suggested that it was difficult for my mother to raise me alone, so my father should also take responsibility for the child. I resolved to find my father. They may be silent, but I have a voice. Mommy, what does my daddy look like? I asked my mother for the first time. Her expression froze, her smile faded, and I could see emotions in her eyes that I could not comprehend as she inquired, "Why are you asking this all of a sudden, Enon? I want to know." After a long pause, my mother softly replied, "Your father is very handsome, but he has a bit of a temper." That sounded rather bad. Even someone as gentle as my mother could not tolerate him. But having a bad temper does not excuse one from parenting. 3. My mother, concerned about leaving me alone in the hotel, took me to the company where she was to conduct business. She needed to go upstairs to discuss collaborations with her colleagues, and bringing me along would be inconvenient. My children's watch was checked by her repeatedly as she instructed, "If anything happens, call mommy. Do not trust strangers easily. And you can ask the receptionist for help if needed, understood?" I nodded earnestly. Once my mother's figure disappeared into the elevator, I promptly jumped from my seat and exited the building. The comments on screen continued to flow. "Little Bao, did you see that black Rolls Royce coming over? The person inside is your dad." The plot isn't quite what I imagined. Has the author revised it? Hurry and let in meet the male lead. Little Bao, if you see a man with an imposing presence, don't hesitate. That's definitely your father. Go up and call him. I glanced toward another towering skyscraper in the distance, where a black car slowly approached. The vehicle came to a halt, and I saw 2 men exit. The man in the front had a handsome face that appeared cold, approaching like a gust of wind. The comments read, "Kid, that's him. Rush in and hug his leg. He has not just your biological father, he has the key to a life of luxury." Without hesitation, I dashed forward with my little legs and, in a flash, embraced the man's thigh. Looking up, I shouted, "Daddy, pay up. I want to save mommy." Fathers should support their children. Children should support their mothers. It's only logical. In that moment, the surroundings fell into silence. After a brief interval, an impolite voice broke the stillness. Where did this chubby little girl come from? Chubby? Me? I swiftly looked up at the source of the voice. A particularly tall man who was gazing down at me. As my mother described, he was indeed handsome, but he appeared rather fierce. "I'm not chubby," I declared. My mother said I was just growing and that my plumpness was endearing. Another man in a gray suit wiped non-existent sweat from his brow and said, "Mr. Chin, perhaps one of the employees brought their child today." He then crouched down to look at me, softening his tone. "Little friend, can you tell Uncle who your father and mother are? I'll help you find them, all right?" I looked up again at the man I was clinging to. "Uncle, my daddy is right here." "Who?" The man appeared stunned, hesitating as he pointed at the man I was hugging, asking, "Is it our Mr. Chin?" I nodded emphatically. The other man fell silent and stood up, stammering to his boss, "Mr. Chin, you see this." The man referred to as Mr. Chin looked down at me, scoffing, "Chubby girl, didn't your family teach you that you can eat whatever you want, but you shouldn't say whatever comes to mind? How come I didn't know I had such a large daughter? Then I'll tell you now, so you'll know." I replied, "I'm not. But you are my daddy." "Who said that?" He crouched down to meet my gaze. "Do you know my name to just call me Dad?" "I know, your name is Chin Yen," as the barrage of comments indicated. He paused for a moment. "You know me? You are my daddy. Of course, I know you." I looked at him earnestly. He stared at me for a long while before chuckling. "Chubby girl, who sent you here to cause trouble?" "I'm not chubby. You can call me Inan." "All right, Inan. Uncle truly doesn't have time to play around with you. Please go with that uncle to contact your parents, all right?" "No. Do you want to abandon your daughter?" I questioned him. "Mommy said you are not that kind of person. Did you deceive her?" Several uncles and aunts stood nearby, presumably my father's employees, their expressions revealing their amusement at the spectacle. He seemed genuinely amused. "All right, tell me who your mother is. I want to see with whom I fathered such a big daughter." "My mother is Jiang Yuan," I stated. For the air fell silent once more. "You say your mother is Jiang Yuan?" After a pause, the man asked slowly. I nodded, yes. His gaze meticulously scrutinized my face, as if trying to discern another person's shadow within it. The next moment, before anyone else could react, he scooped me up and strode forward. Behind us, another uncle called out in confusion, "Mr. Chin? Mr. Chin?" I was carried into the elevator, clutching the neck of this man who was supposedly my father. He didn't seem to know how to hold a child properly, so I had to adjust my position in his arms. "What are you squirming for?" he inquired. "Daddy, it's uncomfortable when you hold me like this." He fell silent, allowing me to find a suitable position. "All right." This man named Qin Yan stared at me before asking, "How old are you?" "Daddy, I am 4 years old this year." He fell silent again, and after a moment, asked, "Are other 4-year-old children as heavy as you?" I felt a twinge of irritation and replied, "My mother doesn't think I'm heavy when she carries me." "I don't think you should be complaining about not being able to hold a child." Another gentleman who had entered the elevator remained as mute as a statue, though his eyes seemed to brim with unspoken words. When the elevator doors opened, I was cradled into an office. As we passed through, I caught several astonished glances from various uncles and aunts, and I heard someone whisper behind me, "Zhou, whose child is President Qin holding?" The uncle addressed as Zhou shook his head, remaining silent. I was set down on a sofa, exchanging glances with the man before me. He fetched paper and a pen, instructing me, "Didn't your mother say her name is Jiang Yuan? Come, write her name down." The uncle who had followed us could no longer contain himself and interjected, "President Qin, a 4-year-old might not be able to write." No sooner had he finished speaking than I took the pen and scrawled Jiang Yuan on the paper. It was a little crooked, but I would never misspell my mother's name. Father stared at the name for a long moment without speaking, but eventually, his gaze settled on my face. "Did your mother tell you I am your father?" he inquired. I shook my head. He sneered coldly. "Then how do you know I'm your father? Perhaps you are her child with another man. Otherwise, why wouldn't she bring you to find me?" A barrage of comments flooded my mind. "Stubborn man. You must be feeling quite agitated inside, huh?" Such obstinacy is no wonder he was sentenced to a life without a wife. If you're unsure, why not do a paternity test? Just have the little one give you a few strands of hair with follicles. I'm dying of laughter. The male lead is probably already planning to acknowledge you regardless of whether you're biologically related. I pondered for a moment and raised my hand to pluck some hair. 1 strand hurt, 2 strands hurt. Father grasped my hand. "What are you doing?" Tears welled from the pain as I gathered the pulled hair and placed it in his palm. "Daddy, go get a test, and you'll find out if I'm your child." He was taken aback. "Who taught you that? Your mother? Where is she?" "Mom is at work." "Do you know your mother's number? Call her and have her come pick you up." Father seemed quite insistent on seeing my mother. I shook my head again, looking at him disapprovingly. "I already told you, Mom is at work. Don't disturb her." "Is she at work or afraid to see me?" "Mom, hasn't he done anything wrong? Why would she be afraid to see you?" I then heard him snort coldly. This father truly had a terrible temper. Suddenly, the phone on the table lit up, and I looked over to find a photo of my mother from the past. I exclaimed in delight, "Wow, you have a picture of Mom when she was younger." She looked so youthful, dressed in what appeared to be a school uniform. Before Father could respond, I showed him the wallpaper on my children's watch. "Look, I also have a photo with Mom." The small wallpaper displayed my mother holding 2-year-old me on her lap, gazing gently at the camera. Father stared at the photo for a long time before suddenly asking, "Why do you believe I'm your father and not someone else?" "Mom looks at your picture and cries," I replied, fixing my gaze on him. This was not something I had read. It was something I had witnessed. My mother held a sorrowful figure in her heart, and during my younger years, she would weep over photographs in the middle of the night. "President Qin," the uncle beside him reminded, "it's almost time for the meeting." He stood up, gazing down at me for a moment before turning and instructing, "Have Secretary Sue come over to look after her. Don't let anyone take her away before the meeting concludes." Thus, the vast office was left with just me and a beautiful young lady. She brought over an array of snacks, smiling brightly at me. "Sweetheart, shall we play together?" "Sure." Secretary Sue patted my cheek, perhaps finding it pleasant to the touch, and then asked curiously, "Little one, what is your relationship with President Qin?" "He is my father." The hand on my face froze abruptly as she cupped my cheeks, her tone laced with resentment and jealousy towards the affluent. "Him? He fathered such an adorable daughter?" It was evident that Secretary Sue endured much torment from her employer. My mother's work was taking longer than expected, and when boredom struck, I messaged her through my children's watch, so she wouldn't worry about me. About an hour later, a stern-faced father returned to the office. Upon seeing him, Secretary Sue stood up. "President Qin." I still had a mouthful of chips and mumbled, "Daddy." Father turned to Secretary Sue. "You may leave." "Of course." As the office door closed, he approached me and sat down. "Has your mother not contacted you?" Surely she hasn't he abandoned you and deliberately left you with me? I placed my hands on my hips and glared at him. Qin Yan, don't you dare speak of my mother that way. You're so disrespectful. Just a moment ago, you were calling me daddy, he said, reaching out to wipe chip crumbs from my mouth. Mom loves you. You are my father. If Mom loves someone else, that person can also be my father, I stated confidently. Mama's boy, he scoffed. A daughter cherished by her mother? I nodded defiantly. That's right, I am a mama's girl. As dinner time approached, I patted my stomach and tugged on his sleeve. Daddy, I'm hungry. Didn't you just eat a bunch of snacks? Are you hungry already? He poked my stomach, seemingly verifying my claim. Snacks are snacks. Meals are meals, I asserted earnestly. Such a clever little one, Father remarked, dialing a number on his phone to order food. This was our first meal together. He, for some reason, kept his gaze fixed on my face, initially attempting to feed me. But I was a big kid now. Big kids could eat by themselves. After the meal, my mother still hadn't arrived. She must have encountered some challenging work. I began to feel sleepy, having missed the messages Mom sent, and fell asleep leaning against Father. I don't know how long it was before my watch buzzed. In my daze, someone pressed the answer button, and I vaguely heard my mother's voice. But my eyelids felt too heavy. Someone shook me gently. Anan, your mother is coming to pick you up. I instinctively snuggled closer. Daddy, I'm so sleepy. The voice ceased, and then I felt myself being lifted, cradled in a broad embrace. When I awoke again, I heard raised voices. I opened my eyes from the sofa, rubbed them, and saw my mother standing nearby. Qin Yan, I've told you, Anan is not your daughter. In the dim light, my mother appeared particularly slender in front of Father. If she is not my daughter, then why did she come up calling me daddy? I heard Father's cold laughter. She claims to be 4. If she is not my child, then you cheated on me, Jiang Yuan. Why don't you tell me who the other man is? Is it meaningful to say this now? Mother's tone bore fatigue. It's all in the past, Qin Yan. She is not your child. And I want to take my daughter home now. Do you think it's that simple? I took her for a paternity test this afternoon. When the results come out, we'll see who's lying. The words caused a tremor in my mother. She moved her lips but remained silent. Mom, I called out to her. And then my mother's attention finally fell upon me as she came over to embrace me, her eyes glistening with tears. You scared me to death. I pressed my face against hers and whispered, I'm sorry, Mom. She kissed my cheek in return, saying, no, I'm the one who should apologize. It's my work that distracted me from looking after you. At that moment, an inappropriate voice interjected, oh, so you two have such a deep mother-daughter bond? What do I count as, the villain? I glanced over to see my father's handsome face darkened with displeasure. I asked my mother, Mom, how could you ever have liked someone so fierce? Silence enveloped the room, and I blinked at them. And then, let's go home, my mother declared, saying nothing more as she scooped me up and prepared to leave. Just then, my father reached out, his tone still icy. Let me hold you. I can't fathom how you've lived these past few years. You've grown so sturdy while your mother looks like a wisp. Aren't you afraid of straining your back carrying her? Dad, I'm not fat, I emphasized. He weighed me in his arms and scoffed. All that good food at home must have gone straight to you, huh? I decided to cease any further conversation with him. My mother followed silently, her expression complex as she watched me and my father. In the elevator, he finally broke the silence, asking, Jiang Yuan, you were the one who quietly proposed the breakup and left for a faraway place. Why? My mother lowered her head, remaining silent. If you truly didn't care about me, why would you bear my child? Before my eyes, the rolling comments reappeared. The male lead finally asked a question. Female lead, for my sake, please respond. I have a friend who says if you two don't clear up this misunderstanding, she will die with regrets. Because your mom gave her $5 million to leave you, damn it. If the female lead had taken that $5 million, I wouldn't be this furious. And don't you remember your legendary fiancé, from 5 years ago? It's been 5 years. The female lead probably thinks the male lead is married now. You better explain yourself. I blinked. Dad, are you married? Suddenly lifted into the air, I found myself at eye level with him. His expression was calm. Who taught you to spread such rumors about your father? Dad, is it because you're unlikable that you aren't married? I tilted my head to look at him. My mom has many suitors. Is that so? He seemed to glance at my mother, with so many pursuing her. Why isn't she married? That's different. I corrected him. My mom just doesn't like anyone. You're simply unlikable. All right, and enough of that, my mother interjected, placing her hand over my mouth. My mother declined my father's offer to take us home. Once we returned to the hotel, she sat me on a chair and, after what seemed an eternity of contemplation, finally asked, and then, "How did you know that was your father?" Since realizing that no one else could see the floating comments, I had gradually stopped mentioning them to others, fearing it would worry my mother. I flashed her a sweet smile. "Mom, you have a picture of Dad in your wallet. Do you want your father?" My mother inquired. I shook my head, then nodded after a moment. "What does that mean?" "I want you, Mom," I whispered. "But you like Dad, and he likes you too." My mother fell silent, and after a pause, she said, "And in adult relationships are not so simple. You're still young. Don't concern yourself with your father and me. But Mom, if you like someone, you should be together, and if you don't, you should part ways, right? I like some friends and play with them. If I dislike others, I ignore them." The comments rolled in. "Ah, smart little darling. Truly my spokesperson. Your parents' love depends on you, little darling. Right, you're both in your 30s, still being stubborn?" My mother's work was demanding, and she didn't take me out anymore. I spent my time watching cartoons or studying on my tablet in the hotel, until there came a knock at the door. My mother had told me not to open it for strangers. "Who is it?" I asked tentatively. "It's me," came my father's voice. I stood on my suitcase to open the door, revealing my father standing outside, his gaze sweeping the room before he stepped inside. "Where's your mother?" "Mom went to work." My father frowned slightly as he bent down to pick me up and set me aside. Then he lifted the suitcase before entering fully.
"Dad,
"How did you know my mother and I were staying here?" Little children should not be too curious about adult matters. "Dad, are you looking for Mom? Am I looking for your mother, or am I looking for you?" he replied. My father settled onto a small sofa in the room, and I sat beside him. The cartoon continued playing, and he glanced at it before commenting, "Childish." I shot him a glare. "You, being an adult, can be childish. I'm a child. Why can't I?" After a pause, he looked at me seriously and suddenly asked, "Has your mother mentioned me?" "Yes, she said you have a bad temper." He scoffed. "Then why are you still here seeking me out?" "Because Mom is sick, and I can't take care of her or myself," I said, gazing at him earnestly. "I don't have money, but you're my father, so you must support me. I can use your money to help Mom." "Your mother is sick?" My father frowned. "What's wrong with her?" I shook my head. "I don't know, but Mom has been losing weight, and she doesn't eat much." Upon hearing this, my father grew restless, pulling out his phone and dialing someone, though I couldn't understand whom. When my mother returned from work, she was startled to see us playing games. "Qin Yan, what are you doing here?"
Mom.
I ran over to hug her leg. My father remained silent, his brow furrowed as he stared at my mother. He came over and scooped me up, lifting me off the ground, and then wrapped his arms around my mother to leave. "Qin Yan, let go of me." My mother struggled. "Where are you taking me?" My father clicked his tongue. Still the same, trying to resist is tougher than controlling a pig. Soon after, he released her and turned to me, saying, "Your mother is being uncooperative. So I can only use you, my little piglet, as leverage." I protested, "I'm a little piglet and you're a pig too." He chuckled lightly.
Indeed.
Once my mother was released and saw me still in my father's arms, she immediately followed us, getting into the car with him. "Qin Yan, give my daughter back." My mother's eyes were red with anger. I quickly dove back into her embrace, wiping her face and drying her tears. "Mom, don't cry. Ask Dad to take us to the hospital." "What do we need to go to the hospital for?" My mother's gaze fell on me, tinged with urgency. "Baby, are you feeling unwell?" "Mom, we're going to get you checked," I replied. "You haven't been feeling well lately. We need to do a checkup." My mother hesitated. "Baby, I'm fine. I'm just a bit tired from work." I knew my mother always acted this way. She would fret over even the slightest of my ailments, yet neglect her own health. "Mom, please, let us go to the hospital for an examination, okay?" I looked at her with pleading eyes. My mother can only rely on me, yet she holds me close, still refusing to speak to my father. In the next moment, a hand reaches out to pinch my cheek, and my father's dissatisfied voice resounds. "You've made me the villain while you play the good guy. Haven to you?" My mother swats his hand away, continuing to ignore him. My father, gazing at the back of his hand that had been struck, falls silent. Upon arriving at the hospital, my father stays close, assertively arranging for my mother to undergo a comprehensive examination. During the wait for the results, neither of them utters a word. My father receives 2 phone calls but does not leave. He remains nearby, his gaze occasionally drifting towards me and my mother. This is a private hospital, and at this hour, it is sparsely populated. Throughout the anxious wait, I cling to my mother's clothing, my heart heavy with concern. She gently strokes my head and reassures me, "Sweetheart, I will be just fine." But that is not the case. When the results come back, the doctor informs us that my mother has early-stage gastric cancer. My mother stares blankly at the diagnosis. That very night, my father unilaterally handles her hospitalization paperwork and consults the attending physician regarding surgical options. The comments from the online viewers appear to celebrate a newfound hope. Finally, it has been discovered. The protagonist is only in the early stages. She should be treatable, right? And then when your parents got married, you should have been at the main table. I'm crying. The adorable little treasure finally doesn't have to be a motherless child anymore. Dad has recognized her. And the life of a rich second generation is about to begin. How wonderful. Little treasure, you are such a clever darling. Regardless of how crucial your work may be, it pales in comparison to your health. Take a leave of absence or resign. The choice is yours. My father states firmly at my mother's bedside. Anin will stay with me. Qinyan, what gives you the right to compete for our daughter? My mother's tone sharpens when it comes to matters concerning me. She is my child, and I've raised her with great effort. What gives you the right? This marks the first time my father, after reuniting with her, raises his voice. Jiang Yuan, can you not be so oblivious? If you do not cooperate with the treatment and continue to dawdle, do you truly wish for her to grow up without a mother? Will there even be a chance for you to compete with me then? Dad. Mom, please don't fight, I whisper softly. Upon meeting my gaze, both fall silent. After a long pause, I see my father crouch down in front of my mother, resting his head against her knee, quietly saying, Jiang Yuan, let us focus on your treatment first. Everything else can wait. I stand several steps behind him, only able to see his bowed figure, his voice muffled, leaving me uncertain if he has shed tears. I yearn to stay in the hospital with my mother, but am denied, and my tears prove futile. My father takes me back to the hotel, packing up both my and my mother's belongings. I move into his home, a cold and lonely large house. He shows me around the entire residence and then asks, "Which room would you like to sleep in?" "I will sleep in the room where Mom sleeps." My father pauses momentarily at my words, then replies, "You are a big girl now. You cannot always sleep with your mother." I select one of the rooms, and my father begins to make the bed. He says, "A caregiver will come over shortly to look after you. Be good, and here's a children's watch to save my number. Call me if you need anything." "And where are you going?" "I'm going to the hospital." My eyes brighten. "I want to go too." "That's not possible. Little children need to sleep to grow tall." No matter what I say, he remains unyielding. When Aunt Chen arrives to take care of me, carrying things prepared for my mother, she leaves the house. I despise my father. Aunt Chen bathes me, and after my bath, I lie in bed and call my mother. As soon as the call connects, she answers promptly. "Anin? Mom." Hearing her voice makes my nose tingle with emotion. "I miss you so much." "Sweetheart, are you at your father's house?" My mother asks gently. "Why do you sound so forlorn? Did your father scold you?" "No, I just miss you." I sniffle. My mother falls silent for a long while before saying, "Sweetheart, listen to your father. Once I recover, I will come to get you." "How long will it take to get better, Mom?" "I don't know, dear." "Mom, I want to go to the hospital to be with you." "But Dad won't he let me?" I ramble anxiously. Suddenly, another voice cuts into the conversation. "Are you speaking ill of me?" "I truly cannot stand my father." He says, "Jiang Jin, and your mother needs to rest now. You should be going to sleep too." And with that, he hangs up the phone. I loathe my father. Aunt Chen tries to soothe me to sleep. "And then, would you like Annie to stay with you while you sleep?" I shake my head. "Annie, I can sleep by myself." "All right then, remember to call me if you need anything." I settle into my father's home, and he returns the next afternoon to sit down and have a meal with me. "Where is Mom?" "Mom is in the hospital. The doctors are discussing her treatment plan, and she cannot be discharged for the time being." He pauses when he notices the tears welling in my eyes, quickly changing the subject. "Be good and stay at home. I'll take you to see her when I finish work." "Okay, Dad." I shovel food into my mouth and hear him say, "I'm not sure what you like to eat. You can tell Aunt Chen, and she will make it for you." After the meal, my father wipes my mouth with a napkin, staring at me for a while, then oddly lifts me up to weigh me. "What are you doing, Dad?" "Nothing. I just find it hard to believe that I suddenly have a daughter. It feels like a dream." I can hardly comprehend his mumbling. "Dad, can you take me to the company and go straight to see Mom after work?" "That's not possible," he declines. "Fine then." As children, we often have no say in such matters. During my mother's treatment, opportunities to visit her are few and far between. I resent my father for not allowing me to visit the hospital frequently, leading to arguments between us. Qin Yan, take me to see Mom. Enough of this nonsense. He glances at me with raised eyebrows. Your mother has no energy to deal with you right now. Don't go causing her trouble.
I want Mom.
I just want to check on her, and then come home. I want to be a nuisance. I plead with hopeful eyes.
No.
His refusal is resolute. Frustrated, I stand on a chair, hands on my hips, and glare at him. Why are you like this? No wonder Mom doesn't want you. His expression darkens at my words. He scoffs, rising to confront me. You remember your mother abandoning me, don't you? I haven't even settled that score with her. And you, a mere child, dare to mock your father? It's her lack of morals that's her business. I want to hold it against you. How could he speak of my mother in such a manner? My mother is not immoral. I retort loudly. It was clearly your mother who offered her 5 million to make her leave you, saying you were marrying someone else. What did you say? My father is taken aback. Tears spill down my cheeks in anger. If Mom had taken your mother's money, it would have been better. Then she wouldn't have to struggle to raise me, and maybe wouldn't have fallen ill. Sob, sob, sob. The more I think about it, the sadder I become. I dash to the coffee table where my notebooks and pens are placed. What are you doing?
He asks.
My vision blurred with tears, I choke out. I'm writing a memo to remind myself that when I see Mom next, I'll tell her not to like you anymore and to find me a new dad. After a while, someone sat beside me and observed what I was writing in my notebook, chuckling. You seem to recognize quite a number of characters. Your mother is so busy, yet she still finds time to teach you how to read? Reluctantly, I replied, my mother bought me a learning machine, and I can learn by myself. Well, that makes you smarter than other children. Even if you compliment me, I still won't forgive you. I turned away, presenting only the back of my head to him. My father reached out to wipe my tears, chuckling. Look at you, crying like a little kitten. Tell me the truth.
Who told you those things?
It was the barrage lady. No one told me, but I just know. If you don't believe me, you can ask your mother when you get home.
That's Grandma.
She doesn't like my mother, and she won't like me either. I rubbed my eyes. She only wants a granddaughter born to another aunt. My father fell silent for a moment. There are no other aunts. Grandma will surely like you. Even if, hypothetically, she doesn't, it doesn't matter, because I love you. You're lying. You still call me a little chubby girl. That's because you're adorable, adorably plump, he replied. I still turned my head away, ignoring him. After a while, my father suddenly poked me, and then let me ask you something. Do you know an uncle named Suziua? You mean Uncle Sue? My father's expression darkened. Do they still have contact? I recalled what the barrage lady had said. Uncle Sue was the second male lead in this heart-wrenching tale. Always feeling that my father treated my mother poorly and wanting to take her away. Uncle Sue had once harbored feelings for my mother. However, after my mother left my father and discovered she was pregnant, Uncle Sue wanted to care for her, but my mother refused, and eventually, Uncle Sue came to terms with it. I knew your mother had an interest in him, always calling him senior. My father said through clenched teeth. But, Dad, I whispered, Uncle Sue's son can already crawl. Uncle Sue got married 2 years ago, and when his baby was born, he even sent a message to my mother to share the joy. Suziua got married and had a child? My father exclaimed in surprise. I nodded. After that day, my father's mood visibly improved. My mother's surgery had been successfully completed, and she was still in the hospital. My father said the hospital was crowded with patients, and since I was a child with weak immunity, I couldn't visit often. I always felt he was deceiving me. However, sometimes Aunt Chun had matters at home, and my father, unable to leave the company, could only take me to work with him. Then, one day, while Aunt Chun was home with me, an unexpected visitor arrived. Aunt Chun clearly recognized the guest and welcomed her in. She was an elegantly dressed lady, accompanied by a beautiful aunt. Su Fong, I heard my son has a daughter? Aunt Chen's full name was Chen Su Fong. The barrage rolled before my eyes. This is your grandmother. Take her down. Little treasure, hurry. No one can resist a highly intelligent and adorably extraordinary child, especially not a biological grandmother. Oh no, why is this female supporting character lingering around? Didn't she get married? Anyone can see that the upstairs commenter hasn't read the story properly. The female supporting character married a dandy. And she looks down on him, forbidding him from going out, leading to their incompatibility and eventual divorce. Isn't it heard that the male lead, now unmarried, has a little burden, thinking he can effortlessly become a mother again?
Wait.
How can that picky mother of the male lead still be interested in someone who has been divorced? She is not interested, but her son is 30 now, and mothers tend to get anxious. In the 5 years since the female lead left, the male lead truly hasn't looked at anyone else. My gaze fell upon the two individuals before me as Aunt Shin introduced, Enin, this is your grandmother. You should greet her. Hello, Grandma, I am Enin. After a brief pause, before I could say anything further, the woman beside Grandma began to introduce herself. Enin, my name is Tsin Qingru, and I am a friend of your father. Hello, Aunt Tin. Grandma's gaze lingered on my face for a while before she sat down next to me. I am not adept at pleasing elders, but the barrage lady said that my mere presence here would suffice. Enin, how old are you this year? Grandma inquired.
Grandma.
I am 4 years old. When my father returned after receiving a message from Aunt Shin, I was already sitting on Grandma's lap, and she joyfully held my little hand. Oh, Arinin is truly clever. Beside us, Aunt Shin chimed in, and how about I come by often to play with you? Dad, why didn't you let me know you were coming? My father approached with a frown and lifted me from her lap. The smile on Grandma's face faded. What? Is it not acceptable for me to visit my son? You can come, but if you intend to bring along unrelated people, I am not very welcoming. Aunt Sin remarked. Yen, you don't need to be like that. I am here to accompany your mother today. After all, we almost got married before, and Enin is very cute. I like her. Where did almost come from? My father replied coldly. Did I ever agree to a marriage contract? Grandma seemed to want to say something, but my father ushered her out. Mom, if there's a chance in the future, I will bring Enin and her mother back to visit you and Dad. Let's leave it at that for today. What do you mean by if there's a chance? Grandma paused. Who is the child's mother? My father's expression remained calm. It means that if her mother is willing to be with me and is open to the possibility of marriage, I will bring them back to see you. Her mother is Jiang Yuan. Grandma was taken aback. Her lips moved as if recalling the actions she had taken years ago that directly led to her granddaughter being left out in the world. My father held me at the door to see the guests out, saying to Grandma, Mom, if you don't want your son to grow old and lonely, then please refrain from meddling in my personal affairs. After closing the door, my father set me down. Didn't you say you didn't tea like Grandma? You seem to get along quite well with her just now. What can I say? She is your mother. I sighed as I looked at my father. He chuckled and tapped my forehead. You're clever for such a little one. Go change your clothes. I'll take you to the hospital to see your mother.
Yay.
My mother was recovering well after her surgery, though her complexion remained pale. I leaned close to her. Mom, I miss you so much. Look, I've even lost weight from missing you. A mocking laugh came from the side. Oh, really? I didn't notice. I shot my father a glare. My mother said she would be discharged in a few days and asked me to be good. After our visit, my father had Aunt Shin take me home while he stayed behind to continue caring for my mother. As we reached the door, I could hear my parents' voices from inside. Qin Yen, let me do it myself. I can wipe myself. What can you do? Have I not seen you in all states? Haven't I been taking care of you all this time? Are you now saying I'm in the way? You should send the nurse in. I gave her the night off. I'll stay here with you. The barrage before my eyes was rolling again, this time filled with the barrage lady's excited screams. The most frequently repeated phrase was, I'm shipping this, which I did not comprehend. On the day my mother was discharged, I happily wore new clothes to welcome her. The new clothes were bought by my father, who had purchased many. I wanted to look beautiful to greet my mother home. My father brought my mother back home, and, with evident displeasure, prepared another room for her. I said I could sleep with my mother, but he was not pleased. He placed several posters in front of me. Come. Family meeting. Jiang Enin is changing kindergartens, choose one. My father insisted that my mother should not return to her job, which involved frequent overtime, as her health had not yet fully recovered. Thus, I had to change kindergartens as well. You and Mom can decide, I said. As a child could hardly ponder such matters. I have once again secured the privilege of sleeping beside my mother, for she has consented. Mother, I whispered, embracing her arm. Have you and Father reconciled?
No.
But I saw Father kiss you earlier. My dear, you must have misinterpreted. Do you still have feelings for Father? My mother remained silent for a long while, pinching my cheek. That is not a concern for you. Now go to sleep. The world of adults is intricate and entangled. Father insisted that Mother should take good care of herself after her illness, paying meticulous attention to her diet, even hiring a nutritionist to help her gain a bit of weight. He mentioned that when they were together previously, her weight was just over 100. Now that was what he deemed a healthy weight. During this time, the barrage of comments appeared quite frequently. Father took us out for dinner at a Western restaurant, where he ordered a children's meal for me. After the meal, as if performing magic, he conjured a bouquet of pink flowers. He pulled one from the side and handed it to me, saying, and then said, she likes flowers. The comments erupted. When is President Sheen planning to take the child to the hospital for a checkup? It's illogical for such a small child to carry such a heavy burden. Indeed, Anan likes it, but why give only one flower to the daughter? Who is the rest for? Who has been obsessing over what flowers the child's mother likes since yesterday morning? Dare to reveal your search history? He even instructed the florist to set aside a flower that can be handed to her. Does our little treasure only have one flower to bear the burden? How infuriating. Is this really the time for the husband to be so arrogant? I looked up at them and asked Father, Dad, is this flower for me? Who is the rest for? Do you have another daughter? Father. He pinched my cheek, gritting his teeth. Are you spreading rumors about your father again? I swatted his hand away, struggling to lift the large bouquet, and handed it to Mother. Mom, this is the flower Dad got for you. The Barrage sister said that if you like something, you should express it boldly. Once I voiced it, both Father's and Mother's expressions changed to varying degrees.
Dad.
Isn't the flower for Mom? Father, yes. Mom, will you accept Dad's flower? Then, Father, and I turned to look at Mother. She accepted the flowers and glanced at me with a smile. And what should we say to Dad? Thank you, Dad. We both chimed in unison. Father. After a moment, he seemed to concede, thinking 2 daughters would suffice. By the time we headed home, the barrage appeared once more. I'm dying of anxiety. Male lead. Just pull out the gift from your pocket and give it to the female lead. If you can't speak, at least use your hands. Hurry up. I'm truly exasperated by your couple's antics. I want to see something for adults. The Barrage sisters' urging got to me as well. Mother was preparing to remove her makeup. Mom, I called out to her. What is it, Anan? I scampered over to Father, tiptoeing to retrieve a small, flat box from his pocket, then hurried back to Mother. Mom, this is a gift from Dad, he's shy. Suddenly, the atmosphere grew still. Mother looked past me at Father. Our little treasure is at the main table. I'm dying of laughter at this obedient little girl. What good deeds did the male lead do in his past life to have such a sensible daughter in this one? The male lead has been conflicted all this time, only to be forcefully pushed forward by his daughter, ha ha. No wonder she's the daughter of a domineering CEO. She's decisive even as a child, hurrah. I was oblivious to the prolonged gaze exchanged between my parents. I was tired and rubbed my eyes, seeking Aunt Chun to wash up. Father insisted that Mother should rest at home for at least a year to recuperate, always citing me, insisting she needed to be in good health for the sake of the child. After 6 months of resting, Mother grew restless and secretly browsed the internet about work, which Father discovered, leading to his anger. Qin Yan, you don't need to use our daughter as a reason every time, even if you have helped me a lot before. You cannot restrict my personal freedom. I am in charge of my own body. You in charge? Are you aware of how poorly you have been taking care of yourself? After their heated argument, they fell into a cold war. I watched the barrage, then approached Mother. Mom, if you keep ignoring Dad, he might just burst into tears. Not long after, Mother returned to work, but at Father's company. I started at a new kindergarten, where the children were quite similar to those I had known before. Although not particularly bright, they were undeniably adorable. The children in kindergarten had to sleep early and rise early. One night, while I was sleepily wandering to the bathroom, I noticed a light seeping from my parents' slightly ajar bedroom door, and the sound of their voices drifted in, though I couldn't make out the words. Rubbing my eyes, I was about to return to my room to sleep, when a flurry of comments appeared. The male and female leads have finally cleared up their misunderstandings. It makes my little heart want to cry. They've finally learned to express themselves, and not just with words. Give me some affection. Sweetheart, go back to your room and sleep. Don't disturb your parents, hee hee, we might be having a little brother or a sister soon. What happened? Why the sudden ellipsis? Seeing ellipses in the most undesired moments, death smile. I get it now, 6 dots means 6 times, right? 6 sets. Curse you, author, for not detailing crucial plot points. May your instant noodles lack seasoning packs. May you buy slippers that are both left feet. How dare you, website? Let esteemed members see ellipses? If this continues, I want to renew my subscription next month. Amidst a myriad of similar jumbled comments, I couldn't comprehend, and after yawning, I returned to my room to sleep. Later, I recalled asking Father, Dad, am I going to have a little brother or sister? Father paused and asked, do you want a brother or a sister? I thought for a moment, I want a sister. All right, Father agreed. Not long after, Father brought home a calico cat, introducing her to me, and this is your sister, Jiang Lele. The little cat purred contentedly in my arms. Dad, why does my sister keep making that sound? Father, she likes you. Sister is adorable. One evening, my parents took me to visit someone else's home. Upon opening the door, the atmosphere was lively. An uncle proudly cradled a chubby child, boasting, "Haha, look how cute my son is. You childless folks wouldn't understand." A red carpet was laid down, surrounded by many items. Mother explained that this was a traditional ceremony, and I had participated in it before. The uncle with the baby noticed my mother and me in a daze. Father introduced us. "Let me introduce, this is my wife, Jiang Yuan, and my daughter, Jiang Jinan." This introduction startled many. "Wait, Qin, where did you get such a big daughter from? When did you get married? Qin, are you playing the hidden marriage and child game? Where is your wife from?" Father replied leisurely, "I'll send the wedding invitations out in due time." Following his introduction, I called out to each person. The uncle with the baby was surnamed Zhao. He seemed to have a good relationship with father and appeared to know mother, but he looked quite surprised to see me. Father pointed at the cooing baby in Zhao's arms and said, "If you want a brother, this one is it. Uncle Zhao." Father explained that since mother's health was poor, she could only have me as a child. If I wanted a brother or sister, he would find one from elsewhere. That seemed fair enough. When my parents wed, I had the honor of being their flower girl, delighting in the sumptuous banquet they hosted. I felt quite sated. Meanwhile, the barrage of comments from the audience ensued. Gift 1,000, charge it to the author. Gift 10,000, charge it to the author. Gift 1,000,000, charge it to the author. As time passed and I grew older, my parents took me to assess my intelligence quotient. My father was rather astonished by the results, pinching my now less chubby cheeks and exclaiming, "It turns out you truly are a little genius." Consequently, I was able to skip grades during my studies. Eventually, those comments began to fade away. As the years progressed, I came to comprehend the reason behind their disappearance. My parents' narrative had reached a conclusion within that tale. Yet, in my eyes, their story continues to unfold. After my mother and father united, their happiness blossomed immensely. Jiang Jinan, when you were 4 and clung to your mother, I tolerated it. But now that you are 8, still wanting to sleep with her at night, do you not feel a hint of embarrassment? My father questioned, hands on his hips. Father, you, being this age, still sleep with mother. I am merely 8, a child. Let's get this straight. She is my wife, my father retorted, visibly displeased. You should sleep with your sister. I want to sleep with mother, just like my sister. Jiang Jin, and I believe I have spoiled you too much. Amidst our playful banter, I suddenly recalled the nicknames bestowed upon us by the audience before their comments vanished. The dueling father-daughter. Perhaps it was not far from the truth. The end. Thank you for listening. Until we meet again in the next story.